Hello all, for the second time this month, I think. You're on Tuesday, April the 14th. Hopefully your coronaviding 19 is going well. Maybe if I would actually be self-isolating, I might actually get some more videos done, other than 2 this month. 3, maybe, who knows? I don't know. Referee's here to help, as always. Help. But, yes. I feel like there was something else I was gonna say, but since I don't have a fucking clue what that was, let's just get to today's list, today's pile of TV shows that we're going to do might look fairly huge. Not compared to the next one we will do, but half of this pile is the same show. So we will start with that half of the pile, and what it is Futurama. This was made by the same Matt Groening. That's Groening. That's how you say his name. The same guy who did The Simpsons, but it takes you on the adventures of Fry. This down on his luck, kind of, simpleton, I guess we could say. Simpleton with a heart of gold. So, he's a pizza delivery boy, and he delivers pizza to this, I don't know, some kind of scientific something, blah, 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 where they're doing experiments or whatever. And he ends up falling into a cryogenic chamber and wakes up, I think it's 3,000 years in the future or something. So, he gets this, he wakes up and finds this, wacky cast of characters, including Bender and Leela, his love interest back here, done by Katie Seagal. She does the voice for Miss Leela there. So I have Volume 1, and I have Volume 2, Why Not Zoidberg? Nobody knows. I don't know. Maybe today's not a very good day to make a video. My brain is not functioning. We have Volume 3. I haven't seen, well, that one's kind of cool. As you can see, I haven't opened any of these. They're still in the package. But I'm assuming what's this would be considered the slipcover or whatever. And then they're behind the slipcover there. And then Volume 4. Now, Futurama was canceled. I don't believe Fox ever really gave it a good shake, because fucking football would always be on, and then they would either push Futurama to a later date or just not even fucking show it. So I don't really feel that Fox really gave it the shake that it deserved. And then Comedy Central picked it up many, many years later. I believe that was after the movies. I don't know if this is all of the movies. They did some films, Into the Wild Green Yonder there. And it's a little bit shiny, and a little bit, as you can see, it's a little bit raised. A little bit bumpy there. A little bit bumpy and shiny. The Beast with a Billion Backs, and I haven't watched any of these either. So I haven't seen any of the movies. Ooh, this one's cool. Feature on Bender's Big Score. Bender is a very sassy robot. So that's what there's Professor Farnsworth. He's one of the main characters too. Bender's Big Score is carbon neutral. Good for him. Good for him. So yeah, I don't really feel that. Oh, Bender. Yes, there's this scene early on. He drinks, he smokes, he steals. He's a lot of fun. In other words, and there's one of these early episodes. Well, maybe it's not an early episode. I can't remember. Sorry, that's dust. I swear it's dust. It's the first time I've coughed in a while. Yeah, I can't remember exactly why. I think he gets kicked out of a casino or something, and he's like, I'm gonna make my own casino with or not casino, it wouldn't be casino, what is it? I can't remember what, but he's like, with blackjack and hookers. And he's like, never mind about the blackjack, or something like that. I can't remember. So that's, so whenever somebody quotes that, they're like, I'm going to get, my own YouTube channel with blackjack and hookers, or, I'm going to get my own mouse with blackjack and hookers. That's where it comes from. It's from Bender, in case you didn't know that, because I know that's something that gets quoted a lot. But I actually liked this series a lot more than The Simpsons, which I do enjoy The Simpsons as well, which you might see in the next video. My cats are doing something weird in there, who knows. But yeah, I actually enjoyed... One of them might be throwing up. Yes, one of them has a hairball. So yeah, because it's just this weird, like, there's aliens and there's robots and there's I guess I feel like the stories were a lot could be a lot more because they were in the future and they had all these all this technology. In one episode they like shrink people down and go in. I think they go inside Fry's nervous system or something. They go inside his body to fight off a virus or something. So there's a lot of there's aliens, there's robots, there's a lot more. There's a robot soap opera. It's Bender's favorite. I feel like there's a lot more places for the story to go, I guess, than The Simpsons. I mean, The Simpsons has their own wacky cast of characters, but I guess I feel like Futurama could be a little bit wackier because they had a lot more wells to draw from, but and that's why Comedy Central, it was so popular. Comedy Central brought it back, and I can't remember how many seasons it was on Comedy Central, but it was a few anyway. So Futurama is a lot of fun, I would say. Let's see. Moving on. Whoops, I'm about to lose my Major Saver card. Get back there, you. Let's see. This is a show I don't quite remember very well. I remember I watched an episode or two of it and I enjoyed it. It was called Grosse Pointe, and it's one of those where these characters are basically in a teen drama. It might have even been on the WB or the CW, or what was the other one? UPN. UPN was the other one at the time. UPN and WB were the ones that came together to become the CW. So it was kind of like a show within a show kind of concept, because all of these, characters were actors on this show, Grosse Pointe. So it was like, you would see their, antics behind the scenes and their lives outside the show and whatever. And I remember from what I saw of it, I enjoyed it. But I don't remember seeing much of it at all. Television is Better with Sony. I was wondering what this book was in there. So that's it's like a little, booklet or catalog, I guess, of different stuff that you can buy from Sony, apparently. Fictitious primetime soap Grosse Pointe. The comedy follows the lives of 6 young actors trying to adjust to the demands of instant stardom as their hit show launches them into the world of premieres, paparazzi, and power. So that's kind of, a show within a show, and, I only remember seeing an episode or two, but I enjoyed it for whatever it was. But all 17 episodes on 2 discs, and I have not watched any more of it, unfortunately, to know if I enjoy it. But like I said, from the few episodes that I did catch, I did enjoy it. It was kind of interesting, kind of funny, kind of that kind of thing. So if I ever decide to, if I ever do actually get quarantined in my house and have nothing else to do, I should probably go through some of these, right? Ooh, it is so shiny. Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. This was a 2-season show, and it has Summer Glau. She was the Terminator in this show. Of course, badass, kicking ass, badassery. And Lena Headey, is that how you say her name? Before everyone hated her as Cersei Lannister. That was the character she played, right? So yeah, this follows John Connor. He's turned around right there. Terminators, you know, this, I don't remember I only saw part of the second season. I mean, it was all right. I don't remember. I remember there being some ass kicking, some interesting science fiction kind of action kind of things in this. It was enjoyable for what it was, I guess. And like I said, I didn't see season 2, and that's as far as it went. So I intended to buy season 2, but apparently I never did. Or if I did, I sold it at some point because I saw all of season 1 and not all of season 2. But so. If you enjoy the world of Terminator, this is alright. This is alright. It's an alright, I just like watching it shine. I just like watching it be sparkly. So, yeah. Robots. And another, let's see, we'll do this next. This isn't a robot, but this was a very fun series, at least until the last season that they knew was coming. Chuck. This is Chuck right here. And what happens is there's this computer program called the Intersect, and it's in a pair of like sunglasses, and Chuck ends up putting on the sunglasses and ends up with this intersect in his brain. So it will allow him to do things like there's an episode where like I think he knows a little bit of karate or something. So it will like tap into information that he needs. But of course he's like he works at a computer store for the nerd herd, and so he's not he's not exactly the most proficient spy ever, but he ends up getting involved. This is Sarah and Yvonne Strovsky. I believe this was her breakout role anyway in Chuck. She's badass in this, and of course Jane. It's he's kind of a little bit more rougher, tougher. Obviously, that's the kind of character that I guess he likes to play. So then him and Sarah have to work together to keep Chuck safe, and of course he has his random weirdo cast of characters, and it was kind of I mean. It was kind of in some ways like low-key science fiction, because it wasn't like Terminator where there's like robots running around, But he had this computer program in his head, and he would do like these little flashes where it basically looked like he went into the Matrix or whatever, and then like he would open his eyes and he would have some kind of skill or some kind of talent or some kind of knowledge, that he didn't have before because the Intersect was, helping him out. Now, this was one of those shows that was constantly on the bubble, and this could be spoilers if you've never seen Chuck. So I'll let you know. You can mute me, and I'll let you know when it's safe to come back if you want to mute me. This was one of those shows that was constantly on the bubble. They had some kind of... for some reason, people were buying Subway sandwiches. There was some, I don't know if Subway was like one of the main sponsors of the show. I can't remember, but because they had Subway sandwiches in the show and blah blah blah. So it was a whole thing. So it was one of those shows that like you never knew for sure if it was going to come back, and they actually did the show a solid. They did the fans a solid, and they're like, okay, we're going to renew the show for one more season, but that's the final season, because it's one of those shows, like I said, that always constantly was kind of was it going to come back or was it not going to come back? And NBC did. This is a show that the network actually did them a solid. The show itself did not do itself a solid, and it was, for me, the last season was very disappointing. It was kind of like you knew that was your last season, and that's all you like. That's all we get. I understand it was supposed to be Chuck coming into his own and becoming a spy in his own right and blah, 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 blah. But I just didn't necessarily enjoy the last season. for reasons. And I mean, I'm trying not to be too spoilery, but there are reasons why I was not a fan of the last season. So, but the rest, I mean, it's you can come back. You can unmute me. We're done. You can come back. So I mean, the show was still fun. It was, there was a lot of good action, sequences. It was lighthearted. It was fun. There is one character that, I mean, there are darker moments to the show, but it still maintains its like light atmosphere, whatever, blah blah blah. But like, there's one character that like, it's a very dark moment, and I'm kind of like, but then they just explain it. It just gets easily explained away, and the show is able to continue on with its, lighthearted whatever. Fair. So it was just a very fun series, and I would suggest it. I wouldn't say skip the last season, just if you're a completist, to see the whole thing, but it was definitely fun for what it was. And next we will go with Reaper. That's something. Let's see. I like the fancy cover here. He was also in The Loop, and this guy, he was in quite a few shows, and of course it's Ray something or other. I'm not good with names. They're on that, and then this is all shiny. This was, I don't quite remember the setup exactly. She's on a show now too. That was his, girlfriend, love interest. Rookie Blue? Not Rookie Blue. That's the Nathan Fillion show, isn't it? It's some cop show. She's on some cop show now. Sam is a slacker whose world turns upside down on his 21st birthday. Oh, right. When he learns that his parents sold his soul to the devil, Ray Wise. Forced to be Hell's bounty hunter, Sam, with the aid of his goofball friends, must track down evildoers and send them back where they belong. And also, this guy, if you've watched the Arrowverse, or, Arrow specifically, he was Mad Dog for the last couple years. I couldn't remember, because I remember he became, he had to like hunt down these, escaped souls or whatever, and I couldn't quite recall exactly how that came to be. I'm like, did he die? And then like, that was his penance for like dying, but no, it was something to do with his parents selling his soul to the devil, so he didn't have to die for that to happen. I cannot remember if this show made 2 or 3 seasons. But once again, it was, it was one of those shows that was just a lot of fun, and fun and some action, a little bit more fun, kind of jokey kind of stuff. It was just an interesting kind of fun little show, with demons and jokes and fun. So, and a shiny cover. So this is one of my shows that I always definitely enjoyed. Even once again, I didn't get to see all of it, so there again, I always intended to buy the DVDs and watch them, and I have season 1 at least, which I feel like I've seen all of it. Whatever the last season is, I didn't see all of the last season, but yeah, it is devilishly funny, as whoever that is says. Entertainment Weekly, and it was a good time. Also a good time is MADtv. I was always more of a MADtv aficionado than Saturday Night Live was okay, but at the time, like, I was watching MADtv. And there's the original cast of people, and it kind of, like, the original cast was good, but then they added people like Alex Borstein, who does characters like Miss Swan. They add Will Sasso was on there later. Mo Collins and Michael. Oh god damn, but they were friends before the show. And Mo Collins is actually on Fear the Walking Dead now, and she plays kind of a funny character on there, which is I like her tough truck driver lady character that she plays on there. But Michael McDonald, that's the name of a singer too. Is that why I always get it confused? I always think I'm talking about the singer, but I'm not. So, and he did characters like Stewart, like, don't, look what I can do, so they had a good original cast with good characters, like the Van Combe lady, she was not very nice, and they had not UBS, I think it was UBS guy. I was trying to think of some of like the other like original characters of this. So they had a really good cast, but then they added on good people later, and I would think that I think that's more like the golden era of MADtv, is when people like Alex Borstein and Michael McDonald and all those, Will Sasso and all those were on it. I believe they released the second season of MADtv on DVD as well, but I have not claimed that yet. But I do have season 1, and it is shiny. So it's it's skits. I think in the early years, I think they did cartoons too. They had little cartoon vignettes in between some of the comedy skits that they would do. I think they did. It's been a long time. Ooh, this actually got a revival on. It was like one season on the CW within the last few years. I can't remember. But 1995 is when this originally came out. So it was a lot of fun. It was a little bit edgier, of course, because it's Mad, and unfortunately, MADtv actually stopped publication last year. I don't know what the actual official last issue was, but I wanted to get it, but I probably missed it. I don't know. So yeah, it was a little bit zanier. It was a little bit edgier. I feel like at the time, Saturday Night Live was kind of maybe playing it a little bit safe. And these MADtv just didn't give a fuck. So it was a lot more. I feel like it was a lot more fun than Saturday Night Live myself. But so it always holds a special place in my heart as well as our last entry that we have here today. This was a PBS show, a children's PBS show, or maybe young adult. I guess you could say it was young adult. Ghost Rider. And this Ghost Rider was a ghost that could rearrange like words and letters and stuff, and it would help them solve little mysteries and stuff. Usually they had 4 episodes that they would overarch and leave you on a cliffhanger, whatever, and they would solve little like mini mysteries. The first one was these kids that were stealing backpacks from other kids, and so they used like their sleuthing skills, and Ghost Rider like helps them out. He looks for clues and goes around. They are doing a revival of this on CBS Plus, I think. I don't feel like it's going to be the same show, but because I think the new show is trying to be a little bit more literary. It's saying it's something about like literary characters or something, and that's not what this show ever was. It was just a group of young adults, young teens who would solve mysteries. One of them was, and I think Spike Lee was actually in that story. There was a comic book contest going on, and there was like a contest. Thank you, brain. Thank you for getting there. And like some people were cheating. They did some more like serious storylines. Like there's a storyline of Rob. This is Rob up here. He has a friend who is homeless, and he goes missing, and then his daughter is looking for him, and they end up like getting trapped. They go into like the tunnels to find try to find him, and they end up, there's like a cave in, and they're stuck under the ground, and then they have to, figure out a way to like, get out, and he uses his Ghost Riderisms, because that was just the thing is, there was kind of a revolving cast of characters in a way. I mean, a lot of them would stay. There were two Gabbies. This is Gabby down here. Her brother is Alex. Where did Alex go? Alex is not on the front. Alex is on the back. That's Jamal. Jamal actually is the original person. Ghost Rider comes from a book in his basement. Samuel L. Jackson might play Jamal's dad in the first episode, or in the first thing. Case 2, Who Burned Mr. Brinker's Store? So they have an arsonist that they deal with in that one. To Catch a Creep, I don't remember what. Into the Comics, that's the one that is about people cheating at the contest. To the Light, I don't remember what that one was. Who's Who, that's the one with Alana Barnes. Tina, the Asian of the group, and also Alex's love interest. She actually gets like an internship or something working for one of her favorite, golden era actresses. And she has to deal with, like, somebody is like stalking, and like they even send like a black rose to this actress and stuff. So they're trying to figure out, who's stalking and, they send like, letters and different kind of stuff. Over a Barrel, I don't remember what that one was either. And Building Bridges, which I also don't remember what that was. I feel like they would add more characters than... Oh, and this is Lenny, by the way. She's... It's kind of like the original cast of characters, kind of like you have your original Power Rangers, and then Tommy joins them later, and then everything gets fucked up later on with different characters coming in and out. But our originals are Alex. Well, like I said, Jamal, Alex. I think Alex is the second one to see Ghost Rider. Lenny, and I can't remember if Gabby originally was one of the ones. But of course, all of the later, like Tina gets to see Ghost Rider, and Rob gets to see Ghost Rider. Jamal's cousin later on, and I can't. Hector later on. I can't remember if he's like a cousin to Alex and Gabby. There are two different Gabbys. She's the original Gabby. There's a different actress who plays her later, but it's still the same character or whatever. So I mean, it was just kind of like teens solving mysteries. And of course, like I said, it was like 4 episodes. Keep track of the clues. The Ghost Rider team is on the case, right there. And they all had this. Like, this is why I wanted to get a marker, a pin around my neck, because they always had their official Ghost Rider pins, to know that you were in the group or whatever. And so that's why I tried to make one myself, and I think I eventually did. If I can find some of my old pictures, I can show you that I had this thing, and then I got like a little ring or something, and then I hooked a marker on this little ring around my neck, so that I made my own Ghost Rider pin, so that way they could always like write down their clues, and if they needed help from somebody, like if they wanted the team to get together, they would like rally J, for if they were supposed to meet at Jamal's house, or rally T if they wanted to meet at Tina's house. I don't think they ever met at Tina's house. They met at Lenny's house a few times. I don't know. I don't think they ever met at Tina's house. I don't really remember. I guess you gotta pay for another set if you do that. But so yeah, this was interesting, kind of different, like live action, not just a cartoon kind of thing. Even though there was some super cool computer generated animated effects, 90s animated effects for what they did with Ghost Rider, because he would move around the letters and different stuff, and you know, only certain people could see Ghost Rider. So, but yeah, they had to, you know, I guess I was interested in, because, you know, like I like the young adult, like Fear Street, like R.L. Stine did Goosebumps, obviously, but I was a little bit too old, I guess, for Goosebumps at the time. I was reading R.L. Stine's Fear Street series, and that was like, you know, teenagers, and some of them died. So they were very like slasher, supernatural, you know, young adult novel books. So this was kind of also, you know, mystery kind of, you know, figuring out the clues and following the leads and that kind of thing. So it spoke to me. Oh, there's Ghost Rider in the middle there. That's what he looks like. I hadn't even noticed that. So, I mean, I think this is, you know, even though it's kids and, you know, I mean, it's kind of a kid show, but at the same time, I think adults can enjoy it too, because there, you know, there is the mystery, and you've got to try to, you know, figure out the mystery and whatever. And there is some, you know, drama. Like I said, the one episode with Tina and Lana Barnes, and the, you know, who's stalking her and sending her dead roses and that kind of thing, you know. So I don't know if they ever came out with any other season on DVD. I would have to see, and I don't remember for sure exactly how many seasons it ran, but it was definitely an interesting, different kind of show for the time, I guess. But that is our list, our pile for today. Even though it, you know, I said half the pile was the same thing. What time is it? 9:44. I needed to go switch over my laundry 15 minutes ago. So now that I'm done talking about TV shows, maybe eventually I will do another one of these. Maybe this month, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I will see you for what I see you.